Hello everyone and welcome back to our course on modern web development. First of all, congratulations on reaching the final stage of this course on modern web development. Throughout all the lessons and modules we've covered so far, you've gained a comprehensive understanding of modern web development and its technologies, ranging from Next.js, Tailwind CSS, integrating AI in your application along with leveraging OpenAI's API, and even introduction to databases using Prisma and SQLite. Now it is time to put all that knowledge into practice. The final project is an opportunity for you to showcase your skills by building a fully fledged AI-powered web application. This project will not only solidify your learning, but also add a significant piece and act as a stepping stone to the world of coding. The objective is pretty clear here. It is to build a Next.js application that utilizes generative AI to address a real-world problem or enhance user experience. And some of the key goals and expectations include demonstrating proficiency in Next.js using the app router. You could also leverage the pages router, but it is of course preferred to use the app one since we're following the latest practices. Implement responsive and modern UI using Tailwind CSS. Integrating OpenAI's API securely and efficiently. And by the way, you could also use other LLMs such as Claude or Llama. You're not limited to OpenAI, but I just introduced you to OpenAI's API since it is the most popular and widely used right now, and also the easiest to integrate. Also, implement user authentication and data persistence. Apply performance optimization and deployment best practices. And of course, consider ethical aspects and content filtering in AI integration. Now moving on to the project guidelines. Your application should solve a real-world problem or enhance user experience. So try to identify a specific problem or user need that your application addresses and solves. Maybe it's a problem that you see every day, so ranging from a quiz generator, AI-powered homework helper, and so on. It is all on you and your fantasy. Use Next.js with the app router, of course, so utilize server components and client components appropriately. Implement Tailwind CSS. Integrate OpenAI's API. Include user authentication using Clerk or other services that also depend on you, but I introduced you to Clerk, so you could try to use that. It is also very easy to integrate, as you know. Also persist data using a database or implement a simple database such as Firebase, MySQL, and try to combine it with Prisma or other services. Then try to implement streaming responses to make your AI application stand out, so enhance your user experience by displaying AI responses in real time, and you could refer to our previous lessons to do that. And finally, deploy your application on Vercel. Ensure the application is production ready, and manage environment variables and secrets appropriately. Some of the project deliverables include source code, so hosted on a GitHub repository with clear commit messages, deployed application with live URL of the deployed app on the Vercel, documentation of course. You could just add a small readme.md file explaining the project, setup instructions, and any necessary details. And also it is optional, but you could do that as part of your project, is to create a presentation, so some sort of slides or a brief report summarizing your project, challenges faced, and lessons learned. And now we're gonna move on to the project steps and more in-depth guidelines. So the first step for you would be ideation and planning. As with any startup, you would have to ideate first and find a problem. So brainstorm and select your project idea, identify a problem or need, consider areas where AI can provide value. Examples include AI assistant for homework help, creative writing tool that suggests ideas for your essays but doesn't replace entirely, a personalized recommendation engine, a language translation or learning app such as a simplified version of Duolingo. So define the problem and how AI will solve it. Create a problem statement, so clearly articulate the problem your application solves and trying to address. Determine AI's role in that application. Don't just simply put a random chatbot, but try to really think about it and think how you can leverage AI in your application. So specify how AI features will enhance the application, decide on the OpenAI API endpoints you will use, such as chat, completions, or edits, and also choose an idea that is feasible within the project timeline, and ensure that idea aligns with ethical guidelines and doesn't promote disallowed content. You'll probably already know that. The second step would be designing the application. So create wireframes, visualize the user interface, sketch the layout of your application using Figma, which is a very good software that provides front-end design, building blocks, and just overall you could design your stuff, app, whatever there. And or simply just take a piece of paper and try to draw something there. After that, try to plan all the users' interactions and build the logic itself, as well as UI and user experience, so user flow, map out how users will navigate through your application, how the authentication process will go, how are you gonna interact with the AI, and how the whole process will be going. Also, don't forget about the accessibility considerations, so ensure the design is accessible to all users, and plan for mobile and desktop views. So don't forget that you don't only have desktop application, but other people might view your app using their phones, so don't forget to make your application responsive, which is not very hard. It's not going to take you a lot of time. And keep the design user-friendly and intuitive, and use consistent styling and branding throughout the application. So yeah, you could also create an icon or a whole brand for your application in Canva, for instance. The third step would be building the front end, so develop the interface using Next.js and Tailwind CSS. Set up a project, implement navigation and layout, so create a consistent layout using shared components, implement navigation menus, headers and footers, and you could even try to use other libraries. Some of the most popular options include Shadcn, Eternity UI, Magic UI, and so on. So yeah, don't forget to build reusable components, such as buttons, forms, modals, etc. Or you could just simply take them from the libraries I just mentioned. Style your components with Tailwind CSS, so utilize utility classes for styling, and don't forget to use client directive where necessary. Fourth step would be integrating the AI API, so connect your app to the OpenAI API or other LLM of your choice. Set up API keys, so securely store your OpenAI API key using environment variables, and once again, never commit API keys to your repo, and don't expose them. Create API routes, so use Next.js API routes app/API to interact with the OpenAI API, and implement proper error handling and validation. And also don't forget to handle data input and output, so user input, display AI response, don't forget the streaming. If you would like to add the streaming, it will just improve your user experience and make your app faster. And the fifth step would be implementing user authentication and data persistence. So I made a quick introduction to databases using SQLite and Prisma, but you could go even further and try to integrate Firebase, MySQL, or other database providers. So yeah, set up Prisma if you're gonna use Prisma. Define models for users, conversations, or other entities, and don't forget about CRUD, CRUD operations. Implement create, read, update, and delete functionalities. And don't forget about the guidelines, so follow best practices for authentication security, ensure sensitive data is properly stored and encrypted, and validate and sanitize all user input. You probably know that, so I'm not going to repeat all of that now. Testing and refinement. So test functionalities, go through all user flows to ensure they work as expected. You could ask your friends to test your application and act as a beta testers. And as an optional task, you could go on more in depth on the unit tests and write unit tests for critical components and functions. Gather feedback, so yeah, don't forget about peer review. Take note of any usability issues or bugs. So yeah, again, ask your friends, family friends, or just family in general. And make improvements, iterate, optimize images, code splitting, and lazy loading. Refer to Next.js to fully optimize your application and make it as smooth as possible. Oh yeah, and the last step is ethical considerations and content filtering. So I'm not gonna go deep into that. So just try to handle user data responsibly, and just be critical. What are you sharing and how are you using AI to handle certain tasks? And now this is the last step, which includes deployment. So deploy your app on the Vercel, set up continuous deployment, connect your GitHub, manage environment variables, and don't expose them. And as a final part, verify all features, monitor logs and performance, and ensure secrets and API keys are securely managed. Again, it is very important, guys. And optimize the application for production performance. And here are the evaluation criteria that you can kind of rely on, but it's not necessary. So functionality, code quality, UI and experience, integration of AI features, and documentation and presentation. So yeah, you can just go quickly through that. It is available on our lesson, so just read through it. And some of the rules include the project must be your own work, so don't plagiarize or just simply copy from someone else's tutorial or GitHub repo. You may use libraries and frameworks taught in the course, and it is optional, but you can send your work to my email, which is arlan@hanlantech.net, whenever you're ready. But try to complete your project within like 5 or 6 weeks or so. And ensure your application adheres to ethical guidelines and do not include disallowed content or promote harmful behavior. And here I attach some additional resources for you to study, so Next.js documentation, Tailwind CSS, OpenAI, API docs, Prisma docs, Next authentication, if you don't want to use Clerk, and also Vercel documentation. And some of the final notes for you is, this final project is not just an assignment, don't take it as an assignment or homework, but an opportunity to create something truly impactful. It's a chance to apply everything you've learned and demonstrate your ability to build modern, AI-powered web applications. And be creative. Let your imagination guide you, and innovative ideas are always encouraged, and maybe one day this idea will even transform to a startup and you will raise your first round, maybe thousands of dollars, so who knows. We all start somewhere, right? Stay organized, plan your time wisely, and keep track of your progress. And of course, reflect and learn. Embrace challenges as learning opportunities and don't let them stop you, and don't let any hardship or struggle define who you are, and just keep moving and breaking things. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing your amazing creations soon. So yeah, here's also an appendix with some sample project ideas, like an application that helps users learn a new language by practicing conversations with an AI tutor. So yeah, here's some ideas. And also I attached a sample timeline, so a 5-week timeline that you could follow, but it is also optional. And here's the evaluation rubric that you can rely on, so functionality, code quality, UI, UX design, AI integration and documentation. And here it's kind of broken down into excellent, good, fair, and poor, so try to stick to that. And here are submission instructions, so just submit everything on the GitHub repo and deploy using Vercel. Even though it is our main course, Nozomio still offers an array of opportunities for students, ranging from tutorials to online hosted hackathons. And since this is our first large project and the course itself, we'll try to integrate more stuff later on. So we'll have a lot of tutorials, we're gonna host hackathons, and we're gonna create a new community of builders and coders. So just stay tuned, follow our social media, and again, happy hacking, and see you next time.